My name's Sally Luthen, and I was the Chief Executive of the Arts Council's West Midlands office when we made the application to the European Development Fund for funds to set up the Creative Advantage Fund. So it was the first, our pitch was that we were creating the first venture capital fund for the creative industries. One wants to believe that the author of this plan really understands why they are making an application for venture capital funding specifically. So, and what they're going to do with it, and when we're going to get our money back. So in a sense, that has to be very clearly expressed throughout the business plan. It needs to be supported by all the figures and so on, but I think that narrative needs to come through very clearly. One of the things, the second thing I think, is to ensure that there are unrealistic expectations about the speed of growth. A lot of companies, the figures, by year three, they're kind of making astronomical sums of money, and you're just thinking that's just unrealistic. So they need to demonstrate in their financial projections that they really understand the sector they're working in and the likely realistic growth rate of a company, depending on whether it's a startup or whatever stage it's in, that it's realistic in relation to the ongoing environment. And then the final thing to look for is that clarity about what will the exit be? How will the monies be returned? And that's something that quite a lot of business plans don't articulate very clearly. And so one is left sort of with the impression that all the attention has gone into, I need some money, why do I need the money? But not so much the thinking through about what the people investing will be topmost of their mind is, when will we get our money back and how much will we get back? So what's our return going to be? So I think seeing that clearly articulated in the plan is going to be is key.
I think the most important thing about the pitch was preparation. Without a doubt, they say prepare for a pitch, but if you're not prepared, the pitch is unlikely to go well. And what we made sure we did was be really, really prepared for the pitch. Everything down to getting the presentation right. I was pitching with a couple of other people, just making sure that what we pitched was right, the information that we were getting across in a short space of time. That's very important. You don't want to overdo it and go overboard with the information. You want to focus in on that 20-minute slot and practice. Practice the things you're going to say. The points you really need to get across. The key points about the business, and obviously you don't want to be waffling in that presentation scenario either. So it's just really important to just be prepared from everything, from the way you structure the content right through to how you deliver it in the meeting, and also being prepared to answer any questions. I think really trying to give some advice to new people coming into something like this is think about answering all the questions that you might think you may get in the pitch, and the more you can answer in the pitch, the better it is, basically, because then you've actually covered all the key points. And then obviously, there's always going to be a question. There's always something. You can never cover everything in a short space of time, but do your best to do that, and you'll be fine.
I think important decision for them is, who do they bring to the pitch? Who's going to be the lead person? Do they bring key members of the team? Because many businesses are going to be small businesses, and it's going to be a small team, and so I think it's important to think through, who do you bring with you, and what's the body language and dynamic like in the presentation between those people. That's, don't underestimate the importance of everyone looking like they believe what the person who's speaking, that all the other people behind them look as if they're actually believing what's being said. What else? Again, keep it short. As with any presentation, think through the key messages you want to impart. Don't go rambling on and on, but have done the backup research so that you can answer any questions and you're not floundering if something detailed comes up. I think, have they thought through the options of what they'll do if they don't get the money? What's the fallback position? What other things have they explored? And do they really understand? Have they thought through, because there are all sorts of different ways of getting money. Have they thought through venture capital being the right thing? And then and do they demonstrate an understanding of what that will mean in terms of the kinds of monitoring and reports and so on that they will need to provide?
Obviously, being finance, I'm looking for strong financials, and particularly somebody who can keep control of financials. Primarily because the owner is not always a financial person. In more cases than not, they're actually salespeople. And to me, a sale's not done until it's done, dusted and paid for. So I would always look for that. One thing that I think is very good of the CAF board is when a potential investee company comes along to pitch, then they give their pitch, and then each of the board members, the chair usually allows them 2 questions. So as the board are from different genres and different sectors, it's really helpful because it would test, and I think by one person asking one thing, it sometimes generates a completely different question to what you were going to ask originally. But I'm always looking for the financials. How strong are the sales projections? Are the costs correct? Have they got the right headcount? Because quite often you'll find that they've got people in, no learning curve, massive salaries, oh we need this, we need that, don't necessarily. But likewise, sometimes it's the other way around. I'd much rather have a person that's in there that's financial, that can do more than one thing and roll their sleeves up at the beginning and then focus longer, particularly if a company's got large sales. If it's somebody that's come to us that's already trading and it's for expansion that they're coming for investment, then I think you need to look at the marketplace that they're going to be in, and have they got the skills of that, and can they cope? And another big area I would look for is cash flow, is headroom in cash flow.
I think for the pitch it was important to me that it was very natural in terms of how it was delivered, that they connected with the business, they connected with us as a team, and they understood what we were trying to achieve, not just financially but also as people from a creative perspective as well. That was really important to us, and I felt that they understood that, and a lot of how we positioned it was about trying to help them understand the business, the environment and our ambitions as a business.
So that they're going to want to look and hear a story that shows them that they can have confidence, that you've thought about what's coming up, that you're not just dependent on one idea, that you know how that idea evolves, that you've thought through some of the things that could cause the business to flatten out. A great thing to do is to draw this up and talk to your people in the business and ask everybody to brainstorm, where would you say we are? Which of these patterns do you think we're in? Which of these patterns do you think we might have a tendency to fall into? Is that because of our systems? Is that because of the way we manage our time? Is that because of there are competitors coming along who are going to mean that we're going to hit one of these walls quite quickly? And that will really help you to think through. It's not that you're necessarily going to show this to an investor, but it's a fantastic way to get your story straight. You'll feel more confident, and then they'll feel more confident.
So for me, it's eye contact. Do they come in and make eye contact and smile? That's really important. If they don't do that, I'm feeling anxious and sort of slightly, what's going on? I think, very, as they instantly score low on interpersonal skills, and that would be a trigger for me of, oh dear.